Hello, Insta family. What is up? How are you? So today it's Tuesday and it's time for our weekly Q&A. So you know now every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm going live and I invite someone to talk about different subjects. And today's topic of discussion is going to be behaviors. And we're gonna see what is a behavior, how is it formed, is it the same as a habit, what's the relationship between behavior and feelings and actions. And these questions, it's not me who's gonna answer them, it's gonna be my friend Eleni, who's gonna come live in 10 seconds because I see her there. So yeah, she's gonna be talking to us about behavior. Let me make her be in the conversation. Go. Hey
Hello.
girl,
Hola.
what's up?
I'm good. How are you? All yellow and sunshine.
Oh, yellow. Yeah, always love the color yellow now. It's like my favorite. I think
It's such a happy.
I'm gonna go get myself a super yellow winter coat, like for,
Oh.
imagine like a
You're gonna be the
perfect.
walking sunshine of the wind.
Oh, yeah. So
I
yes,
love it.
I was telling people here that you were gonna jump in, and Eleni, we met in the Saint Tropez dance school, right? Like a
Yeah, and
thousand
like
years ago,
in 2012. Yeah,
almost 10 years ago.
almost
And
10 years ago.
yeah, and she has been through ups and downs. I have been through ups and downs. She moved, she came back. I stopped teaching, but we have always been in touch.
Connected.
Yes,
Yeah.
and now she's a life and leadership coach, which is so
Yeah.
exciting. Can you just tell us what exactly is it that you do? Because for some people, the term life coach, it's so like vague and they have no clue. They don't know if you're a psychologist or someone to talk to, or tell us.
Yeah, absolutely. So a life coach is very similar to a psychologist in many ways that we deal with like feelings and emotions and thoughts and behaviors and your relationships and your challenges. The way it's a bit different is that coaches are much more hands-on and actionable. So therapists will go more in the past, a lot of psychoanalyzing with where everything came from and how it happened. And coaches will touch on that a little bit, but it's very much action forward and making an action plan and helping you get there. And just like a fitness coach, keeping you accountable, motivating you, making sure you stay on track. So it's kind of like fitness for your mind and psyche in a way.
Amazing. Cool. And today's topic, I love it because when we're talking about what to talk about, she's like, "Oh,
Mhm.
maybe we could talk about behavior and behavior change." I'm like, "Of course," because it's so related to what I do, or like to what I want the people that follow me to do, is to have the best behaviors, so that
Yes.
they achieve their fitness and nutrition goals, right? So the
Mhm.
first question that I would have to ask is, how would you define what a behavior is? What exactly is that?
Yeah, so that's great. So behavior is essentially it's our actions. It's what we do, our mannerisms, our habits. So it's like the things that push us to just do everything in everyday life. And it could be from the, physical stuff, and it can be relational things, and it can be um, us pursuing our goals, how we talk to other people. So anything that makes us move and have an effect on our environment essentially is behavior.
And because I guess in order for people to do any of these things, there is a process, right? There is a thought that goes behind it, or there's a feeling that is going to activate the behavior. What's the relationship between those, like feelings, thoughts, behavior? Is it like a linear thing, or is it all mixed, or how does it work?
Okay, so essentially you have to think of it as if like your brain is your computer, right? That is programming everything. And that computer is essentially what is governing your thoughts. So your thoughts is this program with no emotion, it's totally objective. Your feelings come into
Oh, oh no, she froze. Who froze? Did I freeze? Did she freeze? Uh-oh. Let me see. Can anyone tell me if you can still see me? I just want to know who froze. Did I freeze? Ah, okay. Okay, she'll be back. She'll be back. So don't go anywhere, people. She's just gonna reset and come back. We're talking about behavior, and I was asking her the relationship between thoughts, feelings, and behavior. There she is. Go live. She's coming back right now in 5, 4, 3, 2,
sorry,
2. There we go.
I froze. What was the last thing that we heard?
Well, just start over. Behavior, feeling, thoughts. You have to. You said you have to see it as a. And then.
Yes. Okay. So essentially your thoughts are your programming. So it's kind of things that inform what you're going to do, but before they can even decide or inform what you're going to do is just like neutral information. So it's kind of like you can say like, oh, it's, sunny outside and you have a curiosity about it. And then you go out and you see that when you're outside, you start to feel good. So your emotions have a connection to your thought. It'd be like, oh, okay, there's this phenomenon, there's this thing that's happening that I'm registering as a program that it's sunny outside. When I go outside, I feel good. And so my behavior is I'm going to go outside more often because it feels good. So the thought is really just the programming the information. Now, the idea is that you have to have the thought first, which leads to the feeling, and those combined together are going to lead to a certain behavior. But if you like the behavior that it's led to, then you become aware of the behavior and you want to repeat the pattern from the beginning. And so that's how it becomes cyclical after you've experienced it a couple of times. Now, the idea here is that depending on what your feelings are, you can either be prone to do behaviors more often or you could be prone to avoid certain behaviors.
Gotcha.
So, so that's where we have certain things and we can even escape certain behaviors because the feelings are too much. And so the way to kind of see it is like your thoughts is like your computer programming, your emotions are the fuel to like motivate you, and then your behaviors are the final actions of whatever you do. And if the actions are something good, then they're going to be repeated. And if there's something bad, you're going to avoid them.
So let's say let's put it in a fitness context, right?
Okay.
The thought is I would love to lose 2 pounds.
Okay, yeah.
The feeling is, well, my jeans are a little bit tight. I don't feel good. Like I don't like what I see. I don't like the way I feel. Hence, I go to the gym. And then when you go to the gym, you feel great because of all the endorphins and everything. And then you're gonna repeat that action. However, if you feel sad, or let's say you are lonely and sad, and then you have like 2 hamburgers and 3 pizzas, and then it's a bad thing, I hope you're not gonna do that again, right? So
yeah, okay, sorry, finish.
Yeah.
So there was actually a lot of behavior patterns in everything that you just said. More than one. I would say there was actually probably 3. So let's start with the gym. So the idea is there's the gym. and let's say I have not necessarily a good or bad association to the gym. I just know that there's the gym. If the gym is the thought, and then I approach it, and by being there and doing the workout, I start to see that it feels good, then I'm going to repeat the behavior. If for whatever reason, at some point, going to the gym becomes traumatizing because you had a horrible trainer, or you tore a ligament, or you just, like you didn't like the environment because the people there weren't nice, then going to the gym becomes an aversive situation. And so you're not going to repeat it. Or what if you go and you don't get results as you wanted,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like, somebody's going to tell me, go to the gym, you're going to feel good and you're going to lose weight. I'm like, okay. So I go to the gym, I feel good, but I'm not losing weight, right? Because the behavior is kind of going to the gym, but the behavior also leads to a consequence. And a good example is in behaviorism, we call it the ABCs of behaviorism. So the A is the antecedent, which means like the situation that you're in, the stimuli. The behavior is the actual action, and the consequence is what is the aftermath of that action.
Nice.
So if my antecedent is go do a workout at the gym, and my behavior is by doing the workout, something is supposed to happen, but then that thing doesn't happen, I'm not going to repeat it again because that's not the consequence that I'm looking for, so to speak. So the idea there is if I want to change my consequence, well, maybe I'm going to have to change my behavior. So if I'm like, well, the gym isn't working, well, maybe a personal trainer is going to work, or maybe Zumba is going to work, or maybe a diet is going to work, right? But these things are so ingrained in our system that we don't even realize that it's happening. It becomes almost automatic. And that's when your feelings, being the most powerful thing, kind of overtake the programming. And when they overtake the programming, it's almost as if the programming becomes automatic in your body and you don't even realize that you're doing all these things.
But is it the same as a habit though?
So the difference between a behavior and a habit is that initially they're the same things.
Mm-hmm.
A habit is an automated behavior. So it's kind of like a behavior that's been repeated so often in the same circumstance, in the same timing, with the same feelings and thoughts, that your body just like it's become a program that's automated. And so you no longer even have to think about it. And it can be as much of a motor behavior, it could be as much of a psychological behavior, it could be as much about how you talk to certain people, how you act in certain situations. So that's the difference between a behavior and a habit.
Okay, cool. So a behavior could become a habit. That's it, right?
Yes.
Exactly. All right.
Yeah.
Perfect. And why is it so challenging sometimes to change a behavior? I mean, why, like some people just cannot change something that they know they should change, but they just can't. Why is it so hard?
So the simplest way to explain it is that it all comes down to our own self-awareness and our understanding of what behaviors are and how they work. And the more you start to actually break them down and you say, oh, well, if I know that, when I'm in this environment, this behavior, I'm going to partake in this behavior, which leads me to feel this way. And it's like if you can see it as an equation first and foremost and be aware, we call those behavior patterns. Mm-hmm. So people are not aware of their behavior patterns. So it all starts with just being aware. It's like, oh, I never noticed that, when I go to this place, I start to act this way that makes me feel this way. Or when I talk to this person, I start to behave in a certain way that makes me feel this way. Like romantically, for example, it's like maybe there's that one guy that every time you're around him, right? Or vice versa for a woman with a man, every time you're around them, then you start to like, be really inappropriate or like partake in like really frisky behavior, which typically you wouldn't, and you start doing all kinds of crazy things that you would never do. And the consequence being is that you start to feel not good because the guy leaves you hanging high, right? Or doesn't respect you or just treats you like whomever. And so you're like, huh, every time I am around this guy, I start to like forget all of my values and standards, and therefore the consequences, I feel like shit and I disrespect myself. Well, if you notice that pattern, then you can start to say, like, I don't want to disrespect myself and feel like shit. And therefore, I have to change the behavior, which is either of when I see him, I'm not going to say yes anymore. Or when I see him, I'm going to walk the other way. So I don't
Yeah.
even have a chance to partake in that behavior, right? So it's just that awareness. And after that awareness, then it's finally understanding, well, why am I even attracted to that? Like, why does that situation even pull me in? Or why does that situation trigger me? Like, why does that provoke me or make me react? Like, and that's when usually you have to go deeper inside to understanding yourself with like how you grew up and where your script started, where your programming started, where your narrative started.
So
So
what would I mean, do you have any practical tips for people to increase their awareness and hence improve their behaviors if they
absolutely. Absolutely. The number one way for people to start is just when you react or when you're in a situation that you don't feel good, start to pay attention. You're like, I don't like this, or this person or this situation bothers me or motivates me. Why? Like what is it? And so you start to observe like, oh, every time I'm in this situation, this happens, which leads me to feel that way. And so over time, you start to see patterns. And when you start to see patterns, then you could start just working on yourself. And that's a big part of my job as a coach is to help people create that self-awareness and get to know themselves better and get to go inward. And yeah, I'm even doing a workshop on it very soon. So
True.
this is
Talk to us. No, talk to us about the workshop, please, because I'm so excited about it. Tell us.
okay, great. So the workshop is exactly on everything we spoke about. It's part one of a three-part series on personal growth. It's called Roadmap to Growth. And the first part is on awareness and understanding. So we literally like the idea is this a part theory, part hands-on workshop, and you come with whatever is going on in your life, and we will literally like sit down and do the work that we just spoke about, and I'm going to help you track down these things and connect them so that you can see your patterns, you can understand where they stem from, you can understand your programming. And the best part is that once you start to work on yourself, then you can actually start to relate to other people as well. So the way you see patterns in yourself, you're like, huh, I noticed that when I do this thing, yeah, like that kind of like, triggers Jalitza. And then if I trigger Jalitza, then she's not going to talk to me for a week. So maybe there's something there, whenever I say this, this happens, which makes her feel this way. And the same thing with situationally, like people not being in an environment that they like or in a circumstance that they like. Our behavior patterns inform us so much about our everyday lives, but it's crazy how nobody is aware of them.
Yeah. And is this a 1 day workshop or how does it
Yeah,
work?
so it's a half-day workshop. It's 4 hours long, November 14th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's virtual. So you can join from wherever you are. And
Nice.
yeah,
And guys, if you're listening and you're curious about it and you want to register, ask me for the code because I have a code to give you so that you go participate in this amazing workshop. I might even do it, but I
yeah,
teach I teach on Saturday mornings, but I'll figure something out.
I think you should.
Yeah. Me too. So I don't know. I'm gonna ask if any of those who are listening, if you have questions, guys, you could just post them in the comments as
Yes,
we keep talking,
please.
because I don't know if you have any questions. We've been talking here for like 20 minutes and I haven't asked. How rude of me. Yeah, but yeah, this behavior and habits and everything, I think it's so important, but it's not only in the fitness or in your nutrition, or it's everything, right? It's how you relate
It's
to people, it's how to react to situations, is how, and the awareness part, it's like mind blowing because it's
it's
true. Sometimes you
Yeah,
just go, you live your life and you're not even taking
conscious.
the time to, yes, to see your reactions, to see if you're in a good place. Like, it's why am I feeling this way? Am I feeling good? Am I feeling bad? Because I guess even when you're feeling good, you should do that exercise, right? To see why is it about this that makes me feel great, so that I repeat it, right?
Absolutely. That's actually one of the number one techniques that I use for people who are trying to redirect their life and find a new purpose or they're changing careers. I say, have you noticed when it is that you feel great? Like, pay attention. What are the situations in which you feel great? You feel alive, you feel joy, you feel like you're living purposely, you're feeling like you're serving others. People don't make the connection. They haven't done it yet, right? So it's as much about the good things as it is about the bad things. The same way, let's say somebody is looking to date someone new. Do you know the situations in which you feel good, in which you feel empowered, in which you feel loved? You know? So it's the same thing. Podría estar relacionado con el por qué no puedo ponerme a dieta. Sí, por supuesto.
So let's say it in English so that people understand
Yes.
the question.
So
She's asking if this behavior thing could be related to the fact that she says she cannot go in a diet and she cannot lose weight.
yeah, yeah. Actually, like there's even specific coaches. She's like, I'll be there then. Yay. There are specific coaches that are that deal with it's like the combination between fitness and life coaching because it goes so much more beyond just, you know, the physiological. There is such a psychological part to dieting, to health. You can even be holding weight as a comfort emotionally.
Yeah.
It's like a blanket. And until you're connected to what it is, that thing that you're scared to let go of, for example, you can do all the diets in the world and still not shed the weight in the same way, right? Or what about the fact that maybe the fact that you're holding on weight makes it that you don't need to be in certain scenarios, right? The fact that you can be overweight means you don't risk like getting sexual with someone. And what if you're scared of becoming intimate with someone? Your weight is a protection, right? There's so many different things. And once we start to get to awareness and go back into our history of like, where did the patterns even start? Who wrote the script that when I do this, it leads to this feeling, which leads to this behavior, then you can start to make a lot of connections. Yeah. Face palm.
Like, what?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. It's crazy. It's mind blowing.
Cool. Anyone else has another question? We'll be happy to answer. And if not, just remember this video is going to be in my feed, so you can go watch it from the top later on. And please remind us the date of the workshop, Eleni.
So the date is Saturday, November 14th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern time, and it's going to be via Zoom, so it's virtual. And if you want a discount, 10% off, Jelisa can hook you up.
Yup. Boom.
It's a lot to handle. It is a lot to handle. And that's a very good point. And I'll be really honest, I have a soft spot for people who have never been in this situation before. I do a lot of work on myself. I journal, I meditate, I cry, I write more about it. I've done therapy, I've done coaching myself, like I've been coached myself. And so everything that I've already been through, I use that so it could be a lot more comfortable for you guys, and I make it super practical so that you can leave with tools and it's a lot less scary. I can't tell you that it won't be, but I can tell you that at least with the tools, you'll kind of have an idea of like what's coming and what it looks like.
Amazing. Amazing. Cool.
Yeah.
So this was so much fun.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I might have you back someday because I think there's so many things we could talk about. Especially, I
Make
think
a
that
list.
the relationship stuff. I think, yeah. We're gonna go there.
Okay, girl.
But not today, not today.
I'm excited. I'm so happy you had me on. It's always a joy to be in your beautiful presence and your
Oh,
smile.
thank you. Yes, Fatima, I'll send you the code in 2 minutes.
Perfect.
Nice, nice. And I'm gonna actually try to make it to on Saturday, November 14th.
Yeah.
I'll figure something out. Yes, sir. Okay, so we are gonna wrap this up. It's been 28 minutes. I love you all. I love you, Eleni. Thank you for being here. And thank you for sharing all this knowledge and all these beautiful things. It's really,
My
I
pleasure.
really appreciate it. And thank you so much. So, guys, have a beautiful night. Eleni, thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye
Nice to see
bye.
you. Bye.